I got to spend a little time yesterday with my friend Chris Whitley, and let me tell you, he's got interesting opinions, very funny guy. You need to go listen to DaleWileyShow.com, but he clearly does not believe that there are many conspiracy theories that hold any water. And so let's hear from him now.
And, so that kind of tell me about your days when you were the mouthpiece for the federal government. Tell me about that.
That was interesting too, and that's that probably I can honestly say is some of the very best human beings I've ever had the opportunity to work with, or the ones in the U.S. Attorney's Office both in Kansas City and the branch offices in Springfield and Jefferson City, which was part of the district. That district covers. It covers the vast majority, 66 counties, 66 of Missouri's 114 counties, and so there was a lot of turf there. I think at the peak when I was there, we had something like close to 100 attorneys and about 75 non-attorney support staff, of which I was one, and I was the first person that had ever been hired in the office just to exclusively to deal with press. Gene Paul Bradshaw, a Springfield boy, hired me. Right. He was the U.S. attorney at the time, and I had been covering federal courts down here in Springfield for the news leader, and then one day woke up and was reassigned to another beat that I didn't care that much for. That same day, he called up, and he'd found out about my reassignment before I'd had a chance to get out of the building and go say goodbye to the people on my courthouse beat. Said, what's going on down there? And I jokingly said to him, I don't know, but don't you need a press secretary? And he says, yeah, we kind of do.
Oh, really?
And so about 6 months later, I moved to Kansas City and somehow managed to slip through the FBI background investigation process and went to work for the U.S. Attorney's Office. And it was fascinating work, and very rewarding as well. Handled press from, of course, local press, but state, regional, and all around the world, depending on the cases that we had. And it was really a fascinating time.
Well, and I guess that I would just ask, what is involved in that job? I mean, what gets done in that job?
Well, I would often say, particularly to the attorneys, I said, my job here is to take your legal pleadings and translate them into English for the people, for the purpose for the purpose of a narrow audience of journalists who will then further distort them for you.
Yes.
And that, I mean that in a nutshell, that as well as some speech writing and advising the U.S. attorney on different public policy issues, and just generally trying to be a rodeo clown and javelin catcher and wear a few other hats. Keep an eye out for what's going on in the public sphere, and sometimes channel that back to the attorneys and the case agents who would be working on investigations. Like when you have an open investigation that you can't acknowledge to the public, but it's maybe something that's the subject of news coverage, then part of your job is to monitor what the news coverage is and try to glean any bits of information from that could be useful to the people who are actually doing investigations. It happens from time to time, and so that was it added to the responsibility of the job, and it always added to the level of interest. I was never bored a single day that I worked there.
Well, and so what are some of the best moments in doing that? What are some of the most interesting investigations and everything?
Oh gosh, well, we had a lot of public corruption investigations. We had, and I can honestly say that of all the U.S. attorneys I worked for, and there would have been I guess 5 or 6, if you count the interim or acting U.S. attorneys over the approximate 11 years I was there. I can honestly say that politics did not calculate into any of the charging decisions whatsoever. We prosecuted Republicans, we prosecuted Democrats, we prosecuted independents. We really didn't care. If the evidence was there and the conduct had occurred, then a matter was pursued. And some people find that very hard to believe or hard to understand, certainly in the current context of history. But once upon a time, the Department of Justice was, at least at its local levels, was allowed to be tremendously independent and strong.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, once upon a time, and I don't say that meaning to disparage any decisions that may be made locally these days, but there's just, for a lot of people who worked in the department once upon a time and know what it was like and know some of the characters that are involved in things today, it's disconcerting, but that's probably another topic for another show.
More on DaleWileyShow.com. And now it's Friday, and so it must be a time again for a special visit with my friend Travis.
There we are, all together now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, how are you, Travis?
Okay.
Well, good. So you're back for another week on the podcast, and so tell me what's going on.
Oh, nothing much, really.
Well, tell me about this. Do you have a job right now?
What?
I know you used to work over at the Price Cutter in Aurora. You still have that job?
I'm not there no more.
Okay, well, where are you now?
I'm not working anywhere.
Okay, well, that's nice. A man of leisure. Shall we do that?
Yep.
And so anyway, what are you doing with your days?
Just helping my sister out and stuff.
Okay, and what does she do?
She just works around here, around the house and stuff.
Well, that's nice. And so basically, what are some other things that we could talk about that, you know, the podcast would be interested in?
Oh, what's happening now in the world?
It's a crazy time, isn't it? What do you
Yes.
think?
I think, people should stay home and just relax until this is over.
I think that'd be really good. You know, it's really hard to do that because people are so used to going so fast. And, you know, that's not always the best thing.
Yep.
And so tell me a few more people from Crane that you really enjoy and really make a difference in your life.
Friends from Crane?
Yeah, sure.
One is Bo Chastain.
Okay.
There's some more, but I don't know where they're at now. So.
Okay, well, tell me who they are. So tell me about Bo. Why is Bo so important?
Dee Watson was another one.
Okay.
Oh, Missy Blades.
Very nice.
Elizabeth Wiley. Jonna
Yes.
White. Angie Hooten.
Those are great friends. Good people.
Yep.
Tell me why they're important to you. Why are they cool?
Because I could always go to them if I ever needed help in school.
And they'd be there for it.
Yes.
For you. Okay. And so, you know, I think that that's one of the important things about this is I think that, you know, the way that you help people and, you know, all the smiles you have and all the things you do, I think that's all very important and very helpful to people. And so what else would you say to people to let them know how to live during this crazy crisis?
Well, I think all living should get in the Bible and keep to God's word and keep following Him and keep beside Him all the time.
Yes. What is a Bible verse that you like?
Oh, the very short one, He wept.
That's very easy to quote, isn't it? And
yes.
So, are there any other things that you would mention to the people before we get off here?
Just love one another while you can.
I tell you, it's just like, you know, you just have so many good things to say, and I like this so much, and thank you again for being on the podcast.
You're welcome, buddy.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
My good friend Travis. Listen to Dale Wiley Show to learn more.